Hello, class. My name is Seth Lovely, and tonight I'll be talking about the issue of legalizing medical marijuana, why I think it should happen, why I think it's a good thing, and why I think you guys should think it's a good thing. So just to clear the air, I'm not biased in any way. I don't really smoke marijuana anymore. I used to enjoy it, but as of this day and age, it's not my thing, and I moved on from that part of my life. So I do believe that there are many other benefits, to smoking marijuana other than just getting high from it, as many of us college kids do. I think that the cannabis plant has a lot of great benefits as well as medical marijuana. So I believe that it is a much safer alternative to a lot of pharmaceutical drugs, over-the-counter drugs like Tylenol, which has recorded deaths, Advil, which has recorded deaths, and as well as other plants that are, I mean, not other plants, but other medicines that are out there that only get worse and worse as your problems get more severe and more severe. So to start this off, I just want to have a little brief history of the cannabis plant and medical marijuana, just some fun facts, if you will. So the cannabis plant produces the first fabric that was ever known to man, which is known as hemp. Hemp has so many different uses other than just a fabric. And this fabric and the plant dates back to 7000 BC, which is super long ago, before Christ. And it kind of just shows that the cannabis plant has a history that we really don't know that much about because it's been around just as long as we have. Another cool thing is that George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, two of our founding fathers, actually grew hemp and grew cannabis, and they said that it was a very powerful plant that had numerous uses and is a it's I forget what the exact term was, but basically just saying that it's a prize crop. And this was in 1797, which was their glory days. Medical cannabis was actually sold for the first time in 1840. One of the first cars that Henry Ford ever made was actually run on hemp gas. It was actually legal to pay taxes with hemp in 1631 all the way to the 1800s, and refusing to grow cannabis or marijuana was actually illegal and against federal law in the 17th and 18th century, and would actually result in a punishment because of how valued this plant was to people. In the 1930s is when the prohibition against marijuana began, and shortly after that, in 1937, marijuana was actually made illegal, by law. So back to medical marijuana in my speech. There are numerous ways to use marijuana and cannabis to benefit your health other than just smoking it. But smoking it, of course, is the way that most people see marijuana, just because there's so many college kids and recreational users that obviously do smoke it. You can vaporize it, which is basically bringing it right before it actually combusts. So it still does produce a smoke, but I guess it is more of a vapor, and it's a lot less harmful to your lungs, your throat, and your internal organs. You can eat it through edibles, things like brownies, cookies. You can make butter and cook that in with anything you want. Anything you could imagine, you can really make, with cannabis butter especially. There's things called tinctures and tonics, which are kind of like little droppers. They're little liquids that you can mix in with any sort of liquid. You can put them on. You could also put that on your food if you'd like. You can mix it into a drink, so on and so forth, and get the special benefits of the CBDs, which are known as cannabinoids, which are really the most beneficial part of marijuana and the medical marijuana especially. So yeah, it can be added to your foods, those tinctures. There's lotions and balms that are just easily rubbed onto your skin, and they can cure all kinds of rashes, things like eczema, which is a very severe skin disease, and any really other skin disease that are out there. So those are just some ideas of different ways that you can actually benefit from not only marijuana, but also things that come from cannabis itself, from the cannabis plant. So now I'm going to talk about why I think medical marijuana is a good thing. It's a medicine. It does have some bad side effects that are kind of looked down upon just because it is known as a drug. But look at the other pharmaceutical drugs that are out there that are killing people. Marijuana has not really killed anybody. It's never had a recorded death. But anyways, things that it can treat, it can be used to treat glaucoma, which is an eye disease that creates pressure in the eye and it actually damages the person's vision. This can be used to loosen up that pressure that's being put on your eyes, and eventually help you out in the long run. Marijuana extract, which I said earlier, CBDs, cannabinoids, can help control epileptic seizures, which is something that a lot of people affect. And me personally, having somebody who has actually died from epilepsy and seizures, I can relate with that on a personal level. It is known to prevent cancer from spreading. This was done on a study regarding breast cancer. It isolated the spreading of the cancer, which is pretty huge. As well, with cancer, it helps people that are going through chemotherapy to ease the pain, to also gain their metabolism back so they can actually start to eat and remain somewhat healthy while they're, literally mutilating their bodies with like basically lava that they're putting through their veins. It is claimed to slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease. I guess you could say it kind of just slows progression of many things that are going on inside of you, which is great. Let's see what else we got. So it helps, like I said about chemotherapy, it helps relieve the pain, the nausea, all the things that, all the bad side effects that we do get from, undergoing chemotherapy. Harvard Medical School, they believe that it may help reduce anxiety in a low dose. High doses, obviously, people are known to get very paranoid from marijuana, but in a low dose, they say, can kind of relieve a little bit of anxiety. It eases the pain and is widely used by people with MS, multiple sclerosis, which is a very painful disease that kind of just withers your body away. So a lot of people, there's not many cures, or it's not saying that it's a cure, but it does help, abide with the pain rather than an over-the-counter painkiller. There's different strains of marijuana used for different things. So obviously there's strains that are known as sativa. There's strains known as indica, and both have special traits to one another. Indica is known to be more relaxing, whereas sativa is more of an energetic high that gets you out and going and doing what you'd like to do. And when you're getting medical marijuana, your doctor will prescribe you with obviously the marijuana, the strain that you need to, best benefit what the pain that you're going through. So now let's talk about why it is actually illegal. Just some one-word answers. Racism. It has a very bad outlook because of racism, like people who are using it that in our media, like rappers, so on and so forth, that are just talking about it in bad ways with no real medical benefit. Fear. The protection of corporate profits, which is probably the biggest one. With the legalization of this, a lot of companies are going to suffer economically. Ignorant legislators who are just super against it and are super ignorant towards it. And of course, my own personal belief is that I believe it is illegal because of the effect that it will have on alcohol and tobacco industries. Obviously, people who smoke cigarettes, I'm sure, have smoked marijuana, and I believe that it will take a huge dent on their economical well-being. And of course, over-the-counter drugs like Tylenol and Advil, and any pill that is readily available via a doctor, just as medical marijuana can and should be. So basically, if this were to be legalized, things like Tylenol and Advil wouldn't really have as big of a use. They have had recorded deaths with both of these drugs. Marijuana has not had any. People enjoy marijuana. People do not get any benefit out of Tylenol and Advil. And of course, they are putting their life at, maybe a 1% risk, whereas it still is a risk. And with the legalization of this, we get rid of all kinds of other drugs, painkillers, that are also leading to people getting addicted to them. And eventually, withering away their lives and killing themselves because of the awful addictions that they do have. So basically, in conclusion, there's too much at risk to legalize marijuana in terms of economical standpoints. Medical marijuana does so many good things for so many people, and there's so many documentaries out there that people can read and, update themselves way past where I have just updated them. They can actually see, they can get in touch with, people that are having these problems, and these people can prove to them that medical marijuana is saving their lives. And I think it can continue to save lives if people would, give it a chance. And unfortunately, people aren't giving it a chance. But who knows? Medical marijuana was just taken off the ballot and wasn't passed by the Florida legislation. And it's heartbreaking because there's so many people out there that actually do need it, and there's people out there who are making it so the people who do need it cannot get it. And these people, instead they're taking bad drugs that could potentially kill them and ruin their lives. So thanks for listening to me. I know it's a lot, but it is kind of a fun topic. It is something that affects everybody, and hopefully, I'm sure that in the next handful of years it will be legalized, and places like Colorado have legalized it, and their state has received so many benefits just via the legalization of marijuana, and they legalized it recreationally. I could go there and buy it right now if I'd like. But anyways, thank you, and I hope you guys took some away from this, and I'm sure if you weren't on my side at the beginning, maybe you are now, and I'm sure that there already were plenty of you that believe the same way as me. So thanks again. Bye.